To write down the words the preposition the veritas.
Let's go.
Machine, the veritas machine. The veritas machine. The preposition the veritas machine. Veritas machine. Veritas machine. The veritas machine.
The truth. Let's go.
The truth set you free.
Greetings. Welcome to another edition of the Veritas Machine. Come on. Oof. All right. Get in here. Set to me. Here we go.
The truth set you free.
All right. Let's jump out of this for a second. I wanted it to go right to me. See? Working with some new stuff here. As you can see, check out the new camera. Welcome to my channel, everybody. I am Tony D, your host, and this is the Veritas Machine. Got a little new setup going here. I hope we're looking crisper and more clearer. From my view, it's looking pretty good. So make sure you are liking and sharing this page. If you are not subscribed, there are about 30% of you weirdos that are watching me and you're not subscribed yet. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Get those notification bells going. Don't be a creep. Not any more than me anyway. Oh, thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate it. So we're going to get right into this. And again, please like and share this video. Alec Baldwin. We're going to look at what went wrong on the Rust set and what are some of the things from Alec Baldwin's past that we definitely have issue with. All right. So we're going to start right now. Okay, so here we go. Interview here with one of Hollywood's armorers, and we're going to go right back to the beginning.
Brian Carpenter is a veteran private military
You got the sound, guys?
currently working in the film industry as an armorer, trainer, stunt performer, and producer. And he is joining us live tonight to continue this conversation and really investigation and search for answers. Brian, appreciate your time again tonight. Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the armorer on this particular set, says that she had no idea where the live ammunition came from, blaming, as you just heard, the producers for unsafe conditions and working environment. In your opinion, is that a legitimate defense for a person who is in charge of the arms on set?
Hannah Gutierrez was the armorer on the set of Rust. She is also the daughter of a very well-known, I believe his name is Leo, very well-known armorer in the business. So she was part of a family business.
You know, as I said before, the ultimate responsibility, the reason an armorer is hired and put onto a movie set is the safekeeping, handling, and implementation of firearms on a set. The prop master is their immediate supervisor and boss. You know, if she doesn't know where the rounds came from.
Okay, so here, what you are seeing is very exclusive kind of stuff that they got. This is actually a photograph. A frame. I don't know if it's from photograph or film, but this is what the set was. This is the scene of the unfortunate shooting. You can see where everybody is. You can see where she is. You can see where the director is. This is what happened. This is the scene of it. So I don't know if you've seen that or not before, but it's pretty eerie.
that's the question that's, the investigative bodies here.
Oh, thank you, Helen.
are
Appreciate it.
trying
Welcome.
to answer. And, from my experience in that world, it looks like they're doing a good and thorough job.
Oy.
It's going to take quite some time to get all of those pieces and the underlying facts put together, and all of the questioning and interviews of all the parties involved. And there's a lot of them. The props truck itself, after they conducted a search warrant on it, I think they discovered other items there that were in question. And that is specifically the domain of the prop master and the armorer, at least on any set that I've worked on.
Greetings.
Brian, let's stay there for a moment. Who hires the armorer? How does that person assess their skills and their qualifications to do the job on set?
With the exception of one film I've ever worked on, I was hired on that film by the director himself. With the exception of that, every other film, and I've worked on many, has been hired by the props master. Props master directly hires the armorer.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing, so one thing that came up I was reading a lot about this story today, and Hannah Gutierrez Reed is claiming that she was hired for 2 positions on this particular set: the armorer and also the prop master.
Okay, so the armorer was also hired as the prop master. The prop master being the person who does the hiring of the armorer. The prop master, theirs is the area where the firearms are kept. You can also read into some of the SAG after rules, the Screen Actors Guild Union. You could dig into those, and I should have dug up some links and put them. Maybe I'll put them in the description. But you are going to see the rules are that no one is to point any weapon at anyone at any time. So, Alec bears a lot of responsibility for this.
So essentially what you're saying is the person who would hire the armorer is the prop master. She was asked to do both.
Yes, Alec was both producer and performer, which only gives him more of the liability.
Can a person realistically and safely hold both of those positions?
That's tough.
So that is the trend now that I've seen over the last few years, with all of the studios trying to cut budget and make ends meet by stretching them, is try to pull double duty. There are some props masters out there that are exceptional armorers, and if they're doing a very small film that doesn't have a lot of moving parts, doesn't have a lot of firearms out there,
right? I mean, you would not be able to go and have a prop master be the armor on something like Rambo or Reservoir Dogs or some of these other movies that are out there with a lot of guns in them. I'm not talking about who was the writer or the director of any of them. I'm just talking about the films themselves, the guns. We could talk about Quentin another episode.
then possibly with a high level of skill and lots of experience, they could pull it off. But anything that has more than a few weapons on it, it's just no way, in my opinion, that a props master with all of the multitude of things that they have going on can also handle the position of an armorer, when you have to be that thorough and that precise with everything you do.
Just one of the films that I worked on as an actor was it happened to have a scene where I used a firearm. I've used firearms in many scenes in television and film, but this one in particular, I had one person on each side of me. All 3 of us had guns, and it was a scene where we were firing in front of us. There's another scene where some other guns were fired in different directions. I have actually had some of that ballistic wad hit me on a set. Okay, it's pretty common for it to happen. It shouldn't happen, but I would say that, you know, it's odd. But on that set, the 2 people on either side of me, we each had our own armorer that handled the gun, right? I mean, they inspected this thing. They looked down with a flashlight. They have a special flashlight to look into these things. Also on sets, people are not aware, and we're going to get into this. So you're going to want to stay at the end, because I have something coming up at the end for you for a little surprise that we're going to get into here. You know, when we show some of those things, I just want you to remember that this is a matter of safety, accountability, right?
And in terms of the logistics, who's responsible for handing a gun to an actor? What's the chain of custody regarding firearms?
Well, it's a long one, and there has to be a lot of steps broken, missed, or just completely ignored to get to the point that we're talking about right now. The first step is these firearms coming from a legitimate prop house, somewhere that maintains them, makes sure that they're safe. They get shipped in to the production, either the props master or the armorer takes possession of them. And that's regulated by a governmental body, ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms regulates that. After that's done, there's a check performed on the spot when they're received.
There we go. I'm going to pull this and reshare it. Sometimes you get a little glitch going on here. That can happen. It is what it is. So let's just go back to this.
In.
There we go.
They're locked down under in a safe or in a secure storage area inside of the props department. And then before they even get to set, they
10-second blackout. 10 seconds of darkness
for safety.
So anyway, what I was saying was there was an armor. Essentially, there was an armor for each thing. It's a matter of safety. This was purely from carelessness, I believe. What's up, Space Cake? How are you? I don't know. I actually think I felt like a little. I live in Los Angeles. I think I felt a little tremor when that mute went and happened. I think I felt a little something, but that's normal.
Before they
seriously, earthquakes were like whatever.
They're handed off. A double verification check is done with.
And I will tell you something. If you came out and visited in California, hey, all right, I'm getting popular. I've got a bot. Awesome. I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know what to do with it, but whatever. I'm just gonna have to figure it out later. Let's see. I could try and block it. All right. I've made it to bot level. I'm being botted by porn bots. That is awesome. Thank you. That's when you know you make it on YouTube, baby. Did you feel one? Yeah.
A person of authority on the set.
I will tell you this. If you don't live in LA and you came out here and one of these little tremors happened, I've seen it. People are like, what's that? It's just the earth shaking. Might separate under your feet. Don't worry about it.
Generally, the first AD. Everyone is let to see the gun is safe. It has no obstructions in the barrel. It's not loaded, and it's safe to use. Once that double verification process happens, then you stand by and wait for the scene to be, carried out. And once they start rolling or speeding sound, then you hand off the weapon in whatever condition it needs to be handed off in. Call it cold, call it hot, depending on if it's empty or loaded. The person directly responsible for handing off the weapon to any cask member is the armorer.
Right.
And the armorer
and that is what's strange in this whole process is that they said that, the AD had that didn't happen in any sets I've ever seen. It was actually the armorer, the person who handles the guns, the gun guy, the gun chick, the one with the guns, the gun person. Hey, Pistol Pete over here. That's the person. When you're on a set, you know who it is.
Be the only person handing that weapon off to the cask member.
Brian, with that many checks and balances and such.
And you do not sweep the barrel for any reason whatsoever. And that's what happened.
Thorough procedures. I think it really speaks to why we have not seen more accidents like this on set, but it also highlights some major mistakes that happened on the set of Rust to allow this to happen, this deadly accident. I have a lot more questions for you, Brian, so if you wouldn't mind sticking around, we're going to bring you back after the break because I want to talk about all of this ammunition that was found on the set, live rounds and dummies. Want to know what the difference is between both of those. So if you will, stick around and we'll be talking to you here in just a minute right after the break.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good time for me to just mention that I have a new YouTube project coming up. I'm putting it right in the chat right there. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that, and before you take off from here, go to that. It's also in on the community page for my community post. If you wouldn't mind going and liking and sharing that as well. I have a big new project coming up that I'm gonna surprise y'all with. So, the faster I get to 100 subs, I started doing this. I think I'm at 50 something now. The faster I get to 100 subs over on that page, that link that I just put in the chat, and I'm going to put it's also in the description of this video. new project. I want to get my custom URL. So do us a favor, support the page. Also like this one. And so what do you think of the armorer here so far? He's like, this guy, I mean, I looked at a lot of the armorers and I felt like this guy knew what he was talking about more than most of the people that they've been interviewing. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Rick.
Welcome back. I want to continue that conversation tonight surrounding the deadly shooting on the movie set Rust in New Mexico. The woman in charge of the firearms that day says that she had no idea where the live ammunition had come from, telling investigators that she had checked the so-called dummy bullets to make sure that none were hot. Yet the shot actor, Alec Baldwin, fired in rehearsal, killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins, and injured the director. I want to bring back armorer Brian Carpenter
Director
now.
being
Brian,
Joel Souza, and
so
apparently he
500
was
rounds of
doing what is called a cross draw. All right. So essentially, I think he was doing it with his right hand. I'm not sure. But essentially, that is when you are drawing the gun and you are essentially pointing it at the camera, right? So he was practicing this move. And when he came across, somehow this guy swept the effing barrel across other human beings, which I cannot wrap my head around. As much as I've heard about this story, as much as I've heard about, whoa, the round, the dummy, the this, the bullet, the boop, right? I don't understand why that barrel was swept across this woman's chest. I just don't get it. But we're going to find out. And that's why I kind of I didn't want to jump right on this. I mean, I did some coverage, but you have to take these stories. You got to take them easy, nice and easy. And I'm going to show you that towards the end of the video. So hangs on.
Found on the set.
We got
This
some
was
good
a
stuff
mix
coming up
of
here.
Live rounds, dummy rounds.
We're going to look at some of Alec's buddies here in a little bit. And I think you know what I mean. We're going to look at who they are, who he hung around with, and what got him into a position where really nobody really likes him or says anything good about him, which is a shame from the press.
What appear to be live rounds. In terms of appearance, I'd like for you to show us the difference between what a real bullet looks
Hillary
like
says
and
good stuff
what a
about
dummy
him.
round looks like.
Well, what I have here tonight for you is a blank round and a dummy round. I don't have any live
Okay, now he is going to explain how this works. He is going to show you right now with a firearm and a round how this works. Okay, so these are the facts.
Rounds, but I can easily demonstrate it the same way, because that's the point in a dummy round. They're to look very close to the real thing, and they have a lot of safety protocol in place to make sure that they're
so that, like in a revolver, the gun doesn't look empty on camera. Essentially, that's what a dummy round is. Like in a revolver, you see, that it doesn't look empty.
Used properly as well. So here is a
there you go,
dummy round. You can see it has a projectile in the end of it, but inside the casing right here in the brass, there's BBs as opposed to gunpowder. Also on the end, the primer, which detonates the gunpowder, has been punched out. So you can tell that it has actually been spent already.
Okay, so for any of those who are into firearms, or even if you are not, if you look towards the center of what he is holding now in that silver part, you could see something looks punched there. That is the appearance of a spent round. If it was not spent, that would be flat. Okay, that would be flat. It would be a flat piece,
and it's not live. So a real round looks just like this, except it has gunpowder as opposed to BBs.
Correct,
and the BBs are inside, and you shake it, and you can hear an audible sound and also physically feel the BB shaking in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a way to check, whether or not anything other than a dummy round is present.
And most of these people check this 5 times. Yeah, that round is, that would be sort of like a round for one of those Western revolver type things. Those are like 45s, those
a blank
big
round
guns.
Is very easy to identify, as it has a crimp at the end of it. The crimp holds the gunpowder on the inside. It has gunpowder, but no projectile. And
so now this is
the primer hasn't been struck.
Okay, see that? Now the primer's flat because this round is a blank round. It has no projectile in the front, but what you do see sorry, what you do see is that it is crimped. Okay.
Crimp holds the
Not to be
gunpowder on the
confused
inside.
with crump. This is crimped. Crump is the dancing. Crimp is what that is. I am going to start a YouTube. That's my secret channel, actually. It's a crumping channel. Crump. I'm going to do crump dancing. Thank you. I'll see you there.
It has gunpowder, but no projectile. And the primer hasn't been struck. So it can detonate the gunpowder and it can give the report, the sound, the concussion, everything that comes out of the end of it.
Okay.
And that's the only 2 rounds that should be on a movie
work.
set. A live round never has a place, as I've said many times before.
And what's the difference between the firing capability, the sound, the look of a dummy versus a blank?
Well, a dummy will not fire. A dummy is just there.
Yeah,
and in
the
this particular
primer's-
case, you said Western belt from a character in an old West movie, any Western that you like, and you'll see they're wearing the gun belt, and they've got.
So, what are they saying? Are they saying that they thought that, like, they packed the dummy? What? I just see, like, this is where it's not coming together.
The gun on, well, they have bullet loops in that, and in those bullet loops, you need to have generally something to make it look right for the character. Well, that's an example of where a dummy round would work. You would slip a bullet that looked real but was not inside of those loops to give the character effect. Also, if you want to see your actor load the weapon on camera,
Right.
for close camera work, they would use dummy rounds to load the weapon
To make
so
it
it looks
look
like
like
they're loading it, but obviously they're not loading it with live rounds. It's dummy rounds. And those are examples, but dummy rounds do not.
Okay. So this is an accident that, and yesterday, if you watch my channel, you could watch, you can go back and watch it. You know, I'll put a link in the end of this one when they post it. But you could also see on my channel how Alec was interviewed yesterday on the street. He stopped, he got out, and he talked about this a little
when
bit.
they want to see the effect.
And one of the things he said was, this is a 1 in a trillion accident. Yes, there was carelessness, but I just can't figure out what got switched out or what happened here.
Of the gun going off, hear it, see it. Then you put the blank round in it. The blank round, once detonated, produces fire, smoke, and sound, but no projectile.
Effect.
Nothing comes out of the end of that gun other than those things and powder that burns up immediately upon being expelled. Past a few inches, a pistol wouldn't be deadly. Past a few feet, it wouldn't be harmful. And then when I say harmful, I mean scorching of the skin, some of the unburnt powder maybe hitting you and burning your skin a little bit. That's why we take those distances and multiply them times a factor of 4.
So you sort of see, you get an idea of what the armor is saying here. Now we're just going to sort of get into some of the more disturbing associations that Mr. Baldwin has had over time. And you know, the armor is great. You can go and search for several armorers discussing this stuff. I don't want to spend too much time on that. I want to get right into the next part, because now we're getting into you know, Alec has a lot of very interesting friends, doesn't he? I think we got this one is -06. Okay. So there you go. Alec Baldwin with Harvey Weinstein. You know, the American former film producer. He and his brother Bob, they co-founded Miramax together. Obviously a big deal. They sort of really had an amazing run. And if they were just producers, they would have been very good at it. Unfortunately, you know, the sexual allegations, and keep in mind, the allegations against Harvey Weinstein date back to the 70s. Okay. To the 70s. And he was basically fired from his own company. They kicked him out of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And a lot of these allegations, a lot of people lost their fear of coming out. Rose McGowan, all these ladies that came out and just said, you know, enough of this crap, and good for them. Let's get into another one of his buddies here, and this list is just way too long. And this, you know, as far as you know, Alec goes, you have to understand that, look, this gent right here, if you want to call him that, and I certainly, you know, this is, you recognize him. That's Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey produced Minnie's First Time, which is the film where Alec was, I believe, 46 or 47 years old and did some sex scenes with with an underage actress. And you could see that in the previous episode of the series here, probably the first one that I put out last week. You know, there was an actor named Anthony Rapp that started the whole thing against Kevin Spacey. And again, Kevin Spacey, some of the people that have reported on him and witnessed against him are no longer with us. There are a lot of different stories and crazy allegations, but you can go and do the research on that. I mean, it's in a previous video of mine. The film is called Minnie's First Time, and I show some stills from one of the outdoor scenes. There's nothing inappropriate that I put on there. Obviously, can't do that on YouTube. But it is very disturbing. So, you know, here's another Alec Baldwin association. Let's keep going. I mean, it does not get any better. Okay. It just keeps getting worse and worse. And we are going to go into this next fellow who you are going to recognize. And when you see just the smiling and the just how buddy that he appears to be with someone, you know, like Woody Allen, for example, right? Right. And here's just my stupid desktop, all my dumb shit. It's just editing and stuff, so it's not like you're gonna be able to find anything fun on there. It's just all pictures. Speaking of, hey, there's our webcam girls there back there. Let's see. We're gonna have to block this fella. Look at that. All you gotta do is block him. But Woody Allen, obviously, very problematic association that he has here with him, and as you can see there, you know, American film actor. Married his what you call it? Married his stepdaughter, right? Who's this? Oh, this one. It's okay. This happens. We just gotta block them. They're blocked. So anyway, we're going to go on to his next buddy. And like I said, all this other stuff here is just all my editing shit. You're not going to find anything to... I don't leave anything dumb on my desktop. Like some people just do that. And they like leave their like bank account on there. Like it's not going to see that. Stepdaughter. That's right. Sunyi Previn was her name. And I believe that when she moved into the house, and there were all kinds of allegations from Mia Farrow, and this went through and I'm surprised that he didn't end up getting charged with something. They are still, I believe, together, which is just gross. So let's move on to the next fella, who it just gets more and more gross. Now, I've gotten some messages about this particular gent. Because I posted the photo the other day, and people responded to it, telling me some stories about this guy right here. You might not know who he is, okay? But this is James Toback. All right, this is a guy named James Toback, and James Toback is a very established screenwriter, journalist. He's written books. He wrote the screenplay for, and he's been in the business since like the 70s, right? He wrote a book. He wrote something in the 70s for a movie called The Gambler in the screenplay. So he's like old, right? A lot of 70s and 80s movies that you might not have heard of. But then you get into 1997, there was Two Girls and a Guy. And let's see, what was the thing he did with Alec? Where is that? Toback teamed with Alec in 2013 and created a full-length release called Seduced and Abandoned. So that is their connection. And look at how buddy Alec is with all these guys. I mean, he is up with them. He is smiling. He is really, really friendly with them. And to me, people make mistakes in life, right? People do. And some people can take those mistakes and they could turn them around and do something great with them, right? Take those mistakes, make them a learning experience and bring something to the world that has positivity. Now, to me, in my opinion, this guy and Spacey are the two worst of them, right? Super dirt bags. Wow, I don't even know how that happens. Yeah, when you look up, I mean, look, the harassment allegations with him is this guy would like creep around in the streets of the Upper West Side. He would try and pick up people and talk about being a director. He was like the ultimate, people. There's an article in Gawker that described him as like a pickup artist. I mean, that's gross. 38 women. The Los Angeles Times in 2017 reported that 38 women accused him of sexual harassment or assault. Now, he denied it. He never met them. He said he was there for 5 minutes. He had no recollection. And he would do this at meetings. So you have actresses like Rachel McAdams, Selma Blair. They're just the list, obviously, Julianne Moore, goes on and on of the allegations against this guy. So then you look at this whole entire situation and you sort of figure not only that, but we have, I'm not worried about him. Let me get to this other thing real quick while you guys are waiting. I forgot to. And this is one of the specials that I got for y'all today. I forgot to put it in the thing. So just give me a second. Here we go. This is something a little special that I wanted to have for you guys. And I just forgot to just put it in my screen, but we're going to get this going right here for you. You're going to like this. This is great. Okay. So, now you have the names of some of these creeps that are involved with this guy. And look, it is what it is. You can't make people be good people. Right. You can't have people, around you like that if you want to have some kind of, now look, this, by the way, is fantastic. Let's have a little compilation of Alec Baldwin's angry moments.
Alec, are you relieved at the sentence? Are you happy that she's behind bars?
You're in my way. You're in my way.
Do you think you made homophobic remarks yesterday?
You're definitely in my way.
Do you apologise for your remarks?
You heard what I said, right? You hear what I said? You hear what I said? You got answer me, yes or no? Yes. You're here with my wife, my kids are here. You've got a big problem.
I mean, this guy, he is like on the streets of New York. He's a movie star, and he is going nuts on these guys.
You are as dumb as you look. You are a fox, right?
You are as dumb as you look? Wow. Wow. Courtesy of Splash News, by the way. And the lesson, what you're learning here is you're learning his demeanor. This is how he treats people. Okay. Now, he got pulled over the other day by the press and he stopped and all that. And he had one humane moment, but still, this is how he treats people. Okay. Yeah.
Have a good weekend. Whoa.
I asked you a question. You want to apologize to her? I asked you a question.
You guys got to get out of the middle of the street.
Oh my God, look at how he is in that woman's face. He is in that woman's face screaming. Like, he's also like,
Out of the middle of the street, please. Out of the middle of the
Are
street.
you serious?
Nothing wrong, Alec.
Alec, do you think it's okay to scream at women like that?
Exaggerating what happened.
I want you to get back up, man. I got my car. Get back up.
You don't like it when anyone disrespects your wife.
Safe. Get on the sidewalk, please. On the sidewalk. You're obstructing vehicular traffic. You have to go on the sidewalk, please. On the sidewalk, please.
Whoa.
oh, he's not leaving.
What is it now?
The cops are like, what is it now?
Yeah, Fred's my wife. I want to press charges against the blonde.
What?
See that blonde woman? I want to press charges against her. Let's get her over here.
Okay, have a seat.
She's the one I want to press charges against.
I mean, for what? I mean, did anybody see her do anything? I didn't see her do anything. I want to press charges against her. I want to press charges against her because she likes bananas and she took the last bananas. I was just walking my dog. I was down the corner, you son of a bitch. And she took the last bananas. And I want to press charge against her. I just walked back inside. You saw me just walk back inside. Oh, oopsie. Oh, well, now you can't. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look, it always this is just instant. Look, karma is instant. You just have to add dum-dum sometimes, right? Oh, whoopsie daisy. Man, I don't give a rent. If I was there, I would have rolled across that hood. I would have rolled across that hood and been like, ow! Yeah, it broke the fender. Coma. What? Jamaica and Roma. Alec is like, of course I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to pay for this. Oh my God, he is. I'm so sorry. Am I not sharing the screen with you guys? I think I lost the screen share. I'm sorry. I think I hit something. I'm sorry. I gotta go. I'm gonna bring you back. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be all right. You just have to deal with the technical stuff sometimes, right? I'm not a professional, but I will be someday.
You gotta get out of the way. I'm trying. You gotta get other people on the video. I'm trying. You're trying? Try harder. Okay.
Try harder. I gotta admit, there are some times Alec is my neighbor. He is not a good neighbor or friend. I tried to go and borrow a cup of sugar. He gave me a cup of cocaine. I wondered what he was doing. I said to him, Alec, I meant sugar. Really, I'm baking a tart. He said, oh, with some of those pears you bought with Belza on the last show. Oh, yes, Richard Belza. He lives over in Hoboken. I'm going to go see him and bring him this lovely tart that I made. I said, thank you. I can't do it with cocaine, but I will keep the cup of cocaine. Do I need to repay you or give you some sort of payment for this cocaine? And then Alex said, Dad, get the fuck out of here.
Just want to hear your side of the story, Alex.
Uh-oh. Oh, my God. He looks so pissed. He looks so...
Do me a favor. I want to ask you a question. Can you turn that off? I want to ask you a question.
Oh, he had to have a snack.
All right, sure.
Okay. We just caught Hangry Alec. This is Hangry Alec. Did he just go to this place? Look at him. He's all like, I'm going to hurt somebody. I need some donuts.
Just want to hear your side of the story, Alex.
Oh, boy. He needs a snack. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Do me a favor.
What did he do?
Turn that off. I want to ask you a question. Can you turn it off?
It's off.
I want you to turn it off, too.
All right, sure.
Turn it off. I have a question for you. Have you ever had these delicious donuts from this place? Come over here a second. Do you want one of these? Do you want one of these? I'm going to give you a glazed. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we're going to have a glaze. They put it all around the top like that. They put the glaze. It's delicious. Yeah, I know you. See, we're talking privately. We're talking privately. See, what I did was I got you a gift certificate inside there. I want you to go in there. I want you to get a dozen of these. I want you to bring them home to your mom. Okay, because she's going to love these too. They're delicious.
Alex, they're calling you racist. What do you say to that?
Any truth to the allegations? Did you say anything to Mr. Miller at all?
He's always snacking. I find.
Where is that woman? By the way, do me a favor. Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, do me a favor. Do me a favor.
What?
Okay. I just want to say, you saw that they nearly backed into you, didn't you?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me,
Ma'am,
ma'am,
do me a
miss,
favor.
ma'am,
Do me a
madam.
favor.
May I accost you and your child with all of this? Is that fine?
Okay. I just want to say, you saw that they nearly backed into you, didn't you?
Yes, they did. Would you like a biscuit? Have a biscuit. Yeah, these biscuits in here. These biscuits in there are terrific. They are just terrific. These biscuits in here. Okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to that guy. We'll get to this guy another time. All right. So, yeah, we're going to get all into all these different stories and stuff, but we really have to just keep our heads. All right. So I hope you enjoyed joining me today. Thank you so much. Share this thing. All right. Like, share, get out there, love each other, make a difference. Your voice counts. The truth will set you free. We're going to see you on the next one. See ya.